How's it going, everyone? If you are not subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and do that, and let's get to it. So I'm here at Palomar Mountain, one of my favorite roads. Took a little road trip to come up here. It's about a 45-minute drive from where I live, but so I'm gonna go up and down this bottom half right here. I think this is the south grade, if I remember correctly. And first, I'm gonna be going at an easy pace. Sometimes at an easy pace, you may not even need the brakes. Maybe just rolling off the throttle alone and or downshifting is enough to slow you down. Then I'll come back down rear brake only, and then I'll do front brake only, and then I'll do a combination just to show you what I'm doing, and then I'll also be talking my way through it. Check it out. So first, easy pace. I could probably just stay in third, actually. Just rolling off the gas, not touching the brakes at all. No brakes. Just rolling on and off the throttle, slowly, easily. I'm always ready with the brakes, just in case I need to react to something or whatever may be around one of these corners. I'm just not using them. Because at this easy pace, right, I can even ride one-handed. Check it out. So I'll put my fingers up here just in case I'm covering the brakes. But at an easy pace, even one-handed, looking up to where I want to go. Middle-ish of the lane, that way if a car comes around the corner, I'm not over the line. Right. And of course, uphill and downhill will mean a little bit more. If I was going downhill with no brakes, then I would just have to start rolling up the throttle earlier, because gravity is not going to slow me down as much as like right now as it is going uphill, right? So middle-ish of the lane, car comes around the corner, my bike or my body is not crossing the yellow line. That's why I recommend that. Start on the outside, go to the middle-ish, and then go back out to the outside. That's one way to do it. Doesn't mean every corner you have to do that. A lot of options. Learn how to do everything is what I always recommend. So just rolling off the throttle, no brakes, nice and easy. A little bit of throttle just to maintain my speed. There's the exit. And I can finally start to accelerate. Sometimes people ask me, you know, I'm not using the brakes, I'm not trail braking. I watched your trail braking videos, but by the time I go on the brakes, I'm just slowing down so much. Yeah, like right now, if I'm using the whole lot of front brake, well, I'll be slowing down so much, I don't need to do that. So it all depends on the pace that you're going. However, anytime you go around one of these blind corners and you don't know how to use the brakes in the turn, that's when it becomes the problem. So learn how to trail brake, practice doing it, just don't use as much. Like I can practice trail brake right now. Look at, okay, I'm 5% brake. As I lean, I'm trailing off brake pressure. That's all trail braking is. You give a little bit of brakes, and as you lean the bike, you trailing off pressure. You release the pressure as you lean. So you can practice it at any speed. Like, oh, here we go again. 10% brake, as I'm leaning, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, 0% brake. Tiny bit of gas, there's the exit, now I can accelerate. See what I'm saying? But for that really easy pace, and going uphill, didn't need to use the brakes. So now I'm going to go down the mountain. Now I'm going to do rear brake only. Rear brake only. And rear brake's a lot of fun because I separate it, right? So with the rear brake, I could use that rear brake independently, and my throttle hand could do its own thing. So when I'm using my foot for the brake and my hand for the throttle, I don't have to combine the actions with one hand. So it kind of makes it easier in a way, but I still have to start braking way earlier, and I can't go as quickly. I can go quicker, but not as quickly, because the rear brake doesn't have that much power. So if I go, like right now, if I accelerate really quickly, like right now, the ABS is engaging, because it's not powerful enough to slow me down. So I just have to brake way earlier, and I can't go as fast. But I can still go a bit quicker than what I did a second ago with no brakes. You see what I'm saying? So this is all still rear brake only. A little bit of brake, a little bit of brake. A little bit of brake, holding on the brake, holding on the brake. As I lean the bike, trail off brake pressure a little bit. I'm just using my foot, not touching the front brake. So again, pace determines almost everything. You can practice anything at any pace, but if you're not practicing something specific and you're just riding normally, right? At an easier pace, you might not need the brakes. Pace goes up a little bit, maybe just rear brake is okay. That's perfectly fine. But if you go a little bit quicker, okay, now you may need the front brake and maybe downshifting. Or you might need to start trail braking. Or do a combination of all of it. It all depends. But the thing is, don't rely on just one thing. Don't know how to do just one thing one way, and that's it. Learn how to do the same thing 20 ways, at 20 different paces, on 20 different bikes, with 20 different levels of traction. Like if it was raining right now, well, I would just be using a whole lot more bike position to keep the bike more upright, right? I'd be using more rear brake. I'd be smoother on the throttle and on the brakes if it was all wet out right now. So it all depends. You have to be the ever-changing, ever-adapting, constantly thinking about what's next, what I need to do, what's going on, how do I need to adjust to the changing conditions. You want to be that rider. If I come around this blind U-turn left right now, there's a whole bunch of water going through the middle of the turn, I have to know how to adjust to that. So right now, if there's a whole bunch of water going through, I'd probably stand the bike up, very slowly go over through it, and then go right back into the turn, just like that. I'm still using rear brake, by the way. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. See how I just stood the bike up right there because I went over that metal cattle grade just to get the bike upright because I don't want to be leaned over going over something slippery. Rear brake, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake. I'm still on the brake. I twisted the throttle just to maintain my speed. There's the exit. Now I can start to accelerate. Right now I'm looking behind me. No cars, no cars, no cars. Okay. The reason why I did that, because right now I can't see if there's anybody coming up behind me, so I wanted to make sure there wasn't anybody coming back from way back ago, right? So now I could be confident there's no one there. Alright, so now I want to go back, front brake only. And I know what people are going to say, this bike has linked, or not linked, but I almost said it, integrated brakes. So when I apply the front, a little bit of power also goes to the rear. But keep in mind, I've been doing this on the same bike I've had the whole time. Even on my DRZ with zero technology, doing the same type of stuff, so it doesn't really matter. So, this front brake only. So now I have confidence to accelerate because I have the braking power to slow the bike down. Slow the bike down, my brake's still on, I cracked open the throttle. So that's one big thing I want to clarify about neutral throttle, maintenance throttle. People ask me all the time, almost daily, in one of the comments on one of the videos, am I adding brake pressure and acceleration? No. So what is maintenance throttle? So look at, I'm on the brake, I leaned the bike over, I'm trailing off brake pressure, I cracked open the throttle, but I'm cracked open the throttle just to maintain my speed, but maybe I just have 1% brake pressure on. Cracking open the throttle to maintain your speed is not accelerating, and just holding the brake light on is not actively increasing the pressure. You see what I'm saying? So everything's just kind of steady. So a little bit of brake, cracked open the throttle just to maintain my speed, but I'm just holding a little bit of brake. That's why I could just stay the same speed. There's a little bit of brake pressure on, and the throttle was cracked open just until I saw the exit. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that clears up what maintenance throttle is. I'm not actively braking, like increasing pressure on the front brake and accelerating at the same time. I'm not doing that. I have confidence to accelerate because I plan to brake. I cracked open the throttle, maintain a little bit of brake pressure. There's the exit, off the brakes completely. But just like I went up and then back down, if I'm using no brakes or only the rear brake, I'm not going to have any confidence to accelerate because I know I can't slow down enough. I'd have to be stomping down and making the rear ABS engage the whole damn time. If I know I can't stop, well, I'm not going to accelerate. And that's the whole thing. Why would you accelerate if you can't stop? Why would you go fast if you can't stop fast? It doesn't make any sense. And at any moment you can just use the brakes, so you have to learn how to do that. Even in the middle of the turn you can use the brakes, it's all fine. It all depends on how you use the brakes. All the way into the turn. Because a lot of people's braking columns, like how long it takes them to brake, is only when the bike is straight up and down, right? My braking column includes the first half of the turn, or however long I need the brakes for. So because of that, like the brake light's on, I can hold the brake light on as long as I want to, and I can accelerate and slow down all the way into there. Then once the bike gets pointing the right direction, now I can accelerate out. See what I'm saying? But a lot of people do this. Here's the corner, they brake, off the brakes, everything rebounds, and they just lean into the corner, off the brakes completely. So the bike is just like, holy crap, dude, you're not on the brakes anymore. I guess we're just kind of winging it. I hope I make it through this corner. And hope is not a technique. Again, I'm looking behind me, make sure no one's coming around. All right, now I can turn around. All right, so now I started experimenting with this maybe a couple weeks ago, and it's actually really good. I love it a lot. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm going back down. So I'm going to use the front brake, trail brake like normal. As I lean the bike in, I'm trailing off pressure. But I trail off pressure just so I can get back on that throttle very early as I can. But as I'm trailing off front brake pressure, my last 10%, I actually add the rear brake. So I'm trailing off to the front, twist the throttle a little bit just to maintain my speed. Then I have the rear brake just to continue to keep my speed stable and the bike stable as I go through the rest of the turn. So I'm transitioning front brake, off the front brake, and then I'm overlapping to the rear brake, and then coming out of the corner, then I decrease the rear brake pressure going through the corner. Front brake, trailing off front brake, crack open the throttle, and now I go to the rear. I'm holding the rear, and now I can accelerate. Front brake, all front, trail off front. Now I'm on the rear, hold the rear, off the front brake completely, the rear's still on, there we go. See, it's just kind of like the rear brake is like, it's like the top off, right? It just kind of finishes off the turn with a little bit of rear brake. Front brake trailing off, crack open the throttle, maintain my speed, a little bit of rear, where's the exit? Holy crap, okay, there we go. A little bit of rear, okay, there's the exit, I can accelerate, brake, a little bit of rear, back on throttle. Transition from front to rear, front brake, trail off front brake, a little bit of rear, slowing down, front brake, trail off the front brake completely. Now I just have a little bit of rear, maybe 5%. Wait, where's the exit? Okay, now I can go. I keep the brake light on for this pace until I see the exit. But now I'm transitioning from the front to the rear, and then the rear brake is on until I see the exit. So I get the initial majority of the slowing down with the front, crack open the throttle, but I just have the rear on a little bit just to maintain everything's nice and steady. Keep the bike planted, keep it planted. Front brake, trail off, crack open the throttle. I got the rear, okay, no brakes. Okay, roll off front brake. Crack open the throttle a little bit, maintain my speed, roll back off the throttle, add front brake pressure, back on the gas, back on the brakes, transition from the front brake to neutral throttle, and I have a little bit of rear brake, rear, off the brake, back on the gas. Brake, front, trail off front, crack open throttle, now I'm on the rear. I'm on the rear. Okay, there we go. See that? Making sense? So going up and down, showing you a whole bunch of different ways. No brakes, rear brake only, front brake only, and then a combination of it all. Brake, trail off front brake, back on the throttle a little bit, still got the rear on until I see the exit, now I can accelerate. No one behind me, that's all good. So now I have no problem doing this U-turn right here. But I'm not just gonna blindly go, I'm still looking in my mirror one last time, make sure it's all good, then I'll make the U-turn and go back. So as you can see, you can do a whole bunch of different things with the brakes. So going up the very first time, No brakes. Just at an easy pace, didn't need the brakes whatsoever. Just rolling off the throttle was enough to slow me down for my skill and my comfort. Coming back down, gravity's not going to slow me down as much, so I need a little bit of rear brake. But I could only go a little bit faster because either I had to brake so early or just barely go a little bit quicker because the rear brake isn't enough power to slow me down. In a couple of the turns, I'm on the brake so much that rear ABS is engaging because it's just not powerful enough to slow me down. Then going back up, it was front brake only, right? And then coming back down, now I did a combination of it all. Rolling off the throttle, get onto the brakes, get the majority of the slowing done with the very powerful front brake. As I tip into the corner, I trail off brake pressure all the way off to 0%, crack open the throttle to maintain my speed, and while I'm doing that transition, I added a little bit of rear brake, and I kept that rear brake on until I saw the exit. So it's like a doing everything at once, a transition type of thing. So there you go, a bunch of ways to do one thing, not just one way to do anything. Learn how to do it all, and there we go. Oh, perfect timing too, because there goes the cop going up the mountain. Perfect timing. So MotoJitsu.com, everyone, for my app, my books, affiliate links, discounts, courses, pictures, all the appearances I've done on TV shows and articles for Revzilla and everything else. I really appreciate you guys watching, and check out all the rest of my videos. There's over 300 to go through. All right, check you guys later.